Hi, it's really nice to be on air on Norm Radio today. And I'm here, Kenny Suryatmaja, with my partner Ingo Schuning from the Goethe Institute. We're going to talk about our recent project called Bodies of Care. So, Bodies of Care is an online participatory choreography project where we invite public to be involved as performer, but also you can be spectator of this project, and it's going to be online because we have 6 instructions being created by 10 choreographers from Germany and Indonesia. And from the instruction, you can follow and activate it from wherever you are and whenever you want through Norm Radio in their designated page. So yeah, the theme is called Bodies of Care, and we're probably gonna start by talking about what is it about, and if we hear the word bodies of care, I assume it has got to do something with the issue of care, and probably this has also got to do what we are facing right now in this post-COVID time. So Ingo, do you want to talk about it?
Sure, Kenny. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Really good to be here on invitation of Norm Radio and being able to present our I think pretty easy, accessible project. And I'd love to do and explain a little bit more about the issue of care. Yeah, Kenny, and come on, we started to develop this project in the time when COVID really hit us all, and especially my colleague Caroline Brende, director from Goethe Institute in Bandung, who you already collaborated with. We're in good discussion. Sorry, my son has an interview issue. Sorry, we need to cut this out now. Was ist der? Ja, kannst du machen. Läuft erst wieder Pause oder läuft dann Englischunterricht noch? Pause. Ah, okay. Sorry, my daughter is seeing a doctor with my wife, so I had to actually take over some care issues here in the home. So, and that's why I'm a little bit responsible and maybe a little bit sometimes
that brings the context. Here. That brings
it fits actually pretty good in the context because
yeah, exactly.
Because what I think what we did even before COVID started is a situation where mindfulness was maybe something that was very prominent to us, to a lot of different societies. That was like one thing that I mean a lot of people I think realized, and they as well. And then as well, I think it came with these. And we discussed this before, Kenny, that mindfulness is something that is very strongly protected to yourself, and at least in my perception, you know, you protect more yourself and you care for yourself. And these plural, which we are using in bodies of care, is maybe has this direction for more bodies and for the outer society. And I think this is a general thing as well, which we had maybe in the late 2010s. For example, there was a book written from Andreas Reckwitz, a philosopher from Germany, called The Society of Singularities. And he describes a situation where every human being in this society is getting more and more singularized and isolated, and much more reflecting your own interests and your own existence. And then we had the problem with COVID, when COVID really hit us, that this led to the strange situation that on one side, we all had to singularize more because of social distancing. And we had to even pay attention that we are apart from each other on the one side, but on the other side, we needed as well some unity as well, because this was a threat that we could only fight society-wise as a group. So being under the pressure of being singularized even more, which was an individual decision before, now we had to step back and to reunify somehow on the one side, while still keeping distance. And that maybe was a starting point when we were discussing, so what can bodies of care be about? So how can we express this feeling? That was at least, I think, out of our discussions, our first approach.
Right. And I remember at the beginning of our conversation, we were talking about how different it is, trying to interpret care from different parts of the world. You were talking about care in your part of the world in Germany, and I was talking how Indonesian try to cope this COVID situation and the social distancing, which is so hard for us because we like to, be with each other very closely, and perhaps our urban landscape also cannot give room for social distancing. So that's probably why we come up with this theme, bodies of care, because it is about body. The program, the project is about choreographer work. That's why we come up with the word body. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we can even stress the term of body here as well, besides the care, because um, we have, other ideas which are floating around, like Bruno Latour's concept of Gaia as the body of the world, for example, or Donna Haraway's make yourself kin to, all kind of not only human, but as well living bodies which are on the world. So all these things that can be, and that maybe is more a Javanese tradition than a so to say enlightened European version, is that the animist approach of that there is a life in everything is something as well can cooperate a body and something that we need to care for. So this is as well, or can be seen at least from my perspective, in a broader perspective out of the view on the Anthropocene, right? So that
Right.
we see we kind of messed up on this world and we really feel it now coming through COVID. And now we need to somehow reconnect here and make ourselves kin with the world and everything, and have care, and even care for nature, care for biology, and definitely not only care for us, which will not never really lead us out of this situation.
Right. And I remember also we talked about how we need to incorporate our nature of an analog person who used to meet,
Yeah.
in person. And then now we have to create this project with 10 choreographers, 3 from Germany and 7 from Indonesia, totally doing it online through these little screens as an interface. And I'm speaking here right now in Bali, and I, I live in Bandung, and you now in Jakarta. It's a totally different way of logic, I guess, in working with each other. And yeah, I think it's part of our experiment in this project. How can we create a work in this totally bizarre reality now we're facing? Yeah, Ingo?
Yeah, and how lucky we are that we adopted this now, and that we have this chance to work on with such a diverse partner teams, that you are joining here, that we have partners from different continents, and that we as well, I think we figured out like a lot of very diverse mentors for this project. So I think we can be really happy that they were willing to collaborate with us in this project. So on the one side, we have a pretty, I think, like very famous performative artist, Melati from not Jakarta, but sorry, yeah, from Solo. And on the one side, and on the other side with LIGNA, we have a performative collective from Frankfurt who do with that what they call instructive performance work. They do exactly some kind of art that fits, I think, very good into these times, because it has this reunification under keeping distance. And it brings people together who are still able to do a performance, but to not be, to be maybe outside and to be still in a distance which protects them, like virus-wise or COVID-wise, but still gives them the opportunity to do something together. And so I think we have a perfect approach for this, and a perfect partner team, which is very diverse, and which is, we can be really lucky that we are able to make this happen on so many different platforms as well as islands and cities and societies.
Yeah, and I'm speaking here from Sasi Kirana, who'd like to thank you, Ingo, how Goethe Institute Indonesian agrees to work with us on this project, because it's quite experimental. We don't know what we were doing. We knew that we want to do a public engagement with through performing arts, and then Carolina come up with the name LIGNA, as you mentioned before, to speed up the knowledge of our listeners here. So we were actually quite inspired by LIGNA because what they usually do is instructional performance, as you said before. So they record instructions from different artists. The name of the piece that we were really inspired was Radio Ballet, Dissemination Everywhere, where all the public who decides who wants to join in, they are given headset, and the instruction are given through the headset, and the public would move accordingly to the instruction being given by the recording of the artist. And Melati Suryodarmo was part of their project back at the beginning.
Right, yeah, they collaborated before already once. Yeah.
And it's really nice to have them as mentors here in our project, assisting and also creating very dynamic discussions with our 10 young choreographers from different parts of Indonesia. We got them through an open call, yeah. So we opened the opportunity for young choreographers to be part of this. It was the announcement was hosted by the Goethe Institute and Sasi Kirana as part of our documentary project, actually. The third series of documentary, where actually the final outcome, what we want from these 10 choreographers are their documentation. Um, we want to record how they work together, how they interpret the word care, and what is it for them to include public as part of their performance. And it's been a very intense and dynamic conversation that we've had through our workshop. It's been, I think we've had at least 15 Zoom meetings, and it's 100% online. It's not the easiest task to create uh, an artwork through an online session. But as you saw in the general rehearsal last week, it's pretty exciting. Yeah, how do you feel looking?
It's super exciting. So many sessions, and it was so lucky that this group were like collaborating so perfect. You know that we now have these international teams, this mixed team from Indonesia and Germany, and I think Switzerland, and so I was like really impressed on the final rehearsal how that worked out. It was really worth to stay up like really long to see all this and to see how they were practicing nighttime, and so that was like really impressive, and I'm really happy now that we are going to the final opening of this project and to see the outcome. So it's really promising, I think. And and as you could as well even see during this final rehearsal, all the engagement coming from Melati as a long-standing esteemed partner of the Goethe Institute under your direction. I mean, obviously this project would have been never be possible without the support of Sasi Kirana. And so even for the Goethe Institute, this was actually quite a perfect project development. So starting, with an impulse that was somehow really necessary, I think, to the times where we are living in, having a perfect partner already working in this field and having the idea of networking with young choreographers like Sasi Kirana was doing since years already. It would be very good maybe if you could explain a little bit about your tradition in networking and doing your work with young choreographers in Indonesia. And then identifying partners in Germany with LIGNA, with Ole and Thorsten to have very good partners who had actually the perfect fitting format for this collaboration. And then through the open call, we were lucky that we have enough people who were interested in collaborating and who are still joining every single of so many sessions. So that was like really, really interesting. And now I think the big chance is that everyone can join, and I think you can probably interact with this this performative works on different levels. You can think about what is the care approach in it, or you can just use it as a performative thing and more take it as, join it with your own body and try to feel more into the project, or just as a spectator see it like as something that's going on and just see this project as a project from a distance. So there are different approaches, different ways how to start here, I think, and how to reset this. So
Yeah, yeah. And I would also like to acknowledge Norm for hosting this project,
oh
because
yeah, sure,
cannot be possible
sure.
to disseminate without the existence of a broadcasting entity, because we want this to be broadcasted to different part of the world. And what you will hear from the instructions that are hosted in a Norm is actually an issue that has been discussed a lot through our workshops in these last 3 months. And we actually started with a few references, which are we had a special lecture from Butet Manurung. She was talking about care in a very remote place, and how we deal with the word education for people in the forest of Sumatra, because our understanding of education is probably totally different with what is actually needed in um, people in different realities and realms, I guess. Because what we thought reading is probably, well, of course, reading is very important, but for people who live in the forest, it's probably how you get honeybees to to come to you. It's the highest rank of person in the forest of Jambi is actually the ones who can find honey uh, in
Oh
the
wow.
yeah.
Mm.
Um, and we never really thought of that reality before, and it was being brought up by Butet Manurung very impressively. For and to have our participants from Germany is also making it more dynamic. For us, probably looking at a very hideous bridge on a river is quite usual, but for them, it brings another awareness, I guess, towards development. And then we have another session with Saskia Baylor, which is a curator. She was talking about curating artworks that are based on the issue of care. And that also, I never realized that care is such a diverse issue and can be brought up in different kinds of artwork. So these 10 choreographers, I really would like to mention their names here. We have terrific participants from different parts of Indonesia and the world. We have Abdul Hadi from Bandung, Indonesia. We have Kurniadi Ilham from Jambi. And then there is Densil Lebang, who lives in Jakarta but originally from Toraja. We have Inyoman Krishna Satya Utama from Bali, Ella Mutiara from Sukabumi, West Java, Mekratingrum Hapsari from Solo. We have Imade Yogi Sugiarto from Bali, and Eva Borman from Nuremberg, Isabella Maria Hersfeld from Berlin, Marlen Flüger, and Yasmina Lamler, who lives in Berlin. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's as diverse as the topics they're dealing with and how they approach these, and that's maybe something that we all could learn as well out of these idea of bodies of care. That it's gives so many opportunities to attach to the topic, and to interact with this topic. So I think we're really lucky with picking this one. And
Yeah, true. Because they come here with already a lot. I mean, they're not beginner choreographers. They're probably reaching their mid-career, and they already have an idea of what care is. So when we come in, we have people talking about the community care in Bali. We have people who's concern of the queer community, and also how the mental health of the community. So we're talking about physical approach, but we're also very much looking into the mental and spiritual condition of our community. especially in this post-COVID time, because as we know, usually, for example, one person was talking about how you interact with your parents, and in Indonesia, you kiss the back of the hand of your parents, and when she used that gesture in her instruction, it makes sense for us Indonesian when she said, "Put the back of your hand into your forehead," but for the participants from Germany, what the hell are you doing? It doesn't mean anything for us.
Yeah, almost awkward. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think in this process, we're noticing some gestures that we have been taken for granted, and realize that, oh, it probably doesn't make sense in another part of the world, and then it becomes really interesting to noticing what what gestures are important for other people and what is not, and who to care and why we want to care, and what if we don't care about them. um it's really interesting. So yeah, probably you want to invite the public, Ingo, here to join.
Absolutely, yeah. Everyone might hopefully feels hardly invited here for joining and for enjoying these amazing piece of art, which brings together artists from different continents and concepts about care from totally different cultures, and tries to connect all these. So yes, I think from your side, Kenny, as the main organizer and curator of this project, and us from the Goethe Institute, who as well developed this project idea together with you. Yeah, all we can do is now really to hope that this project will be seen by a lot of people and becomes a success. And we got it. I mean, we first have it online now, and it will be integrated as well to a big conference in Berlin, I think, in spring 2022. And there will be an exhibition about it. So we have a lot of different approaches how people will get aware of our project here. But I think the easiest, the fundamental way how to join is through the channels of the radio, the internet radio, and just see and just enjoy, right?
Yeah, you just click play and see what the choreographers have to say and ask you to do. And actually, you can.
Okay, yeah, he's gone again. Okay.
Yes, and what's exciting is you can do this anywhere. You can just log on to Norm, and then you can press any instructions. We have 6 tracks there from the participants who work in group, and some of them also work individually. You can do it in public area, you can do it in the kitchen, you can do it in the bathroom, you can do it individually, and you can also invite your friends in the office perhaps. You can do it, between the tables in your office. So yeah, let's just try it. I mean, we do something together from different parts of the world. Maybe you are in Japan, or you're in Indonesia, or yeah, join us.
Okay, how about if we really just try it, to give our audience a little impression what it would be, so to give them an idea.
Sure.
So shall we do for the final goodbye here a very short instructional performance? Yeah,
that will be great.
Can we do that?
Let's
okay,
do
so
it.
Okay, so let me do the instructions, and then we are just fading out here.
Okay.
So first thing would be that I need to see your fingers, your hands. Yeah, right. Yeah. And then, I'm wearing earphones, so I can take one out and you not, but you would need to block one ear. So that you already, the other hand you don't need. So, and now we're drowning into the screen, down the screen, down the screen. Have your hand that's up, hand up and up. Now the hand disappears. And 1 second, 2 seconds, and after 2 seconds, we lift our hands, and then you turn off the video, okay?
Okay.
And hands up, say goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.